Hey guys, it's Lynk Plays Games. Welcome back to my channel. So, I decided to change it up and play a game that I used to play all the time when I was younger. My stepsister had this on her old iPod Touch, and I was like so mad because I didn't have an iPod Touch at the time and I wanted to play this game. And every time she was over, I would like borrow her iPod and like be playing this on it until I got my own iPod. And that was like really cool to me to have it and to be able to play it. And then I forgot about this game for years. And I was like, I wonder if like that's still a thing, because it was like on iPod. Is it on Android? Like, for some reason, I was thinking it was, like, iPhone only, like, Apple product only. But I was wrong. It is on Android as well. It's on Google Play. So I decided to play it for a little bit. Something calm, relaxing. I've had a lot of things going on in life. So to be able to, like, sit back and, like, take a moment and, like, just relax and do something that's kind of, like, not mind-numbing, but, like, mind-quieting, if that makes sense. I've been, like, my brain's been on overdrive, like, between trying to figure out, like, the things with YouTube and, like, work situations and whatnot. I've been on overdrive, and I've been, like, non-stop, constantly going, constantly thinking, constantly planning, all while giving myself extra chaos into my life, which maybe not my best idea. But, you know, it's organized chaos, I guess, because for those who know, I feel like this has been mentioned a lot about, like, my unfortunate love life sucks. And the thing is, like, where I live in such a small town that everyone knows everybody. So if you date one person, 9 times out of 10, the next person you date is either gonna be that person's, like, distant cousin or family, or, like, their childhood friend, or, like, someone who knows them really well, and they're like, oh, well, you know, I can't actually date you because, like, so-and-so is my aunt's, like, adopted son, or whatever. It'd be a mess up here, or down here. Love the South. Everyone knows everyone, everyone's related, especially in my area. The other day, I was actually talking to one of my cooks at work, and I was just like, I don't know how we got on the topic of talking about, like, family, and he mentioned, like, growing up in a small town in Alabama, and, like, how he, you know, had all the friends that, at his day and age, you know, they'd go down to the creek without parents, and they'd go do crazy things, and whatnot, and he said a name that kind of, like, sounded familiar, and I'm like, by chance, does that person, like, have kids? Like, 3 kids specifically? And he's like, oh, I don't know, I really lost touch with him. And I was like, if I showed you a picture, would you be able to say that's him or not? And he was like, yeah. Well, then I, like, did a little Facebook researching, Facebook stalking, my sister's boyfriend, and I pull up a picture of one of his family members. And I was like, is this the guy? And my coworker turns and looks, and he's like, yeah, I know him so well. And I was like, that's my sister's boyfriend's family. Everyone knows everyone. Like, you cannot get out of a small town without everyone knowing everyone. And it's kind of crazy when you do find someone who doesn't know somebody else in this, like, small area. Like, if I were to go up to, obviously, one of the places I used to work at, everyone knows my ex, because he's worked there for years. But if I were to, like, go over, like, over where I work, nobody knows my ex. Somehow, like, they know of him. They probably have seen him before, and they're like, oh, he kind of looks familiar, but that might be because you've brought him in here, or, you know, maybe just, like, in passing, but, like, don't actually know him. It's so rare to find someone who's got, like, a small bubble that no one really knows. You know? To me, I can honestly say I'm not related to anyone. Well, by blood, I'm not related to anybody in this area. Because with me being originally from New York, moving down to the South, I ain't got no cousins here. I got step family. But even then, my step family's, like, pretty, like, close-knit. And, like, so small, like, I'm sure if you, like, really, like, dug into, like, the lore and the history of family trees, maybe they know somebody who's, like, the sister of, you know, my step-uncle's ex-girlfriend or something. Like, I'm pretty sure if you get, like, down to the nitty-gritty, you'll find some connections somewhere. But thankfully, no blood relations for me. I couldn't imagine actually being from here and having to, you know, do 23andMe or Ancestry.com to make sure we're not related. That's just wild to me. Like, I make the joke all the time when somebody around here, like, that I'm close to starts dating, and I'm like, oh, did you do your 23andMe yet? You know, did you shake the family tree? Like, it's wild. I couldn't imagine. Like, back where I'm from, the joke is, like, everyone called most people, like, auntie and uncle, even though there was, like, no relation whatsoever. If your parents were friends with those people, and they were around when you grew up, that was your aunt and uncle. Didn't matter if they were actually your aunt or uncle or not. So, like, my mom's got, like, 20 different aunts and uncles, and only, like, I think a fourth of that is actually related to her or something. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Because, like, I always have to ask when my mom goes, oh yeah, I'm talking to Aunt so-and-so. And I'm like, aunt on whose side? Oh, she's not actually. Oh, okay, yep, that figures. Cool. Like, up there, it's not a thing to be everyone's cousin, whereas down here, literally, I had a boss one time. Every time a customer would come in, he would go talk with them. And then he would, like, come up and talk to me about them. Be like, yeah, so-and-so, that's my cousin on my so-and-so side, and blah, 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 blah. And, like, she's my cousin's uncle, aunt, step something or another, and da-da-da-da-da-da. We're related in some way. And I'm like, oh, okay, wild. So it's definitely so weird to me. The polar differences between North and South when it comes to aunts and uncles, because half the time you don't know your aunts and uncles down here. Well, cousins, I guess. Like, distant cousins. But also, I feel like in the South, like, way back when, like, generations ago, people had more kids down here than they did up north. I want to say that's, like, a thing I studied in high school or middle school. We had, like, a discussion about that. Because, like, way back when, you know, I'm trying to think of how to describe it. Like, way back when farming was, like, a bigger thing, and, like, you relied on your family to do the farming, and, you know, you had to have, like, more kids to help out on the farm. So it was, like, a thing to have, like, 15 kids down here, whereas up north it wasn't as big of a thing because there wasn't as many farms up there. You know, like, I don't... Am I making sense? Because I don't know if I am or not. But anyways, yeah, everyone knows each other down here, and it's crazy. And it definitely makes for a tough dating life. Because, like, you have to, like, every time you talk to somebody new, you have to be like, oh, do you know so-and-so? Do you know so-and-so? Like, oh, when I was in high school, I hung out with this person, that person, this person, that person. And 9 times out of 10 now, most people don't know the people that I used to hang out with. There was one time that someone actually knew someone that I used to hang out with, and it ended up being his sister, which was crazy to me, because, like, me and her were friends since, like, middle school, and then, like, fell out in high school. And then, when me and my last ex dated, I was like, yeah, you probably don't know anyone that I, used to hang out with, or know anyone that I know, because you live, like, a couple towns over, a good bit out from where I live. And he goes, well, I know some people who went to that high school. And he's like, do you know so-and-so and so-and-so by chance? I was like, oh my god, like, I know so-and-so from my freshman year, and then I know her from, like, my sophomore year. Me and her were, like, so close, and we just kind of fell out with each other. And I don't know what happened with that, but, like, it was, like, just a calm falling out. Well, he ended up talking about me to them, and they were like, oh my god, yeah, we know her. And it was, like, the craziest thing, and, like, like, just proof that everyone knows everyone, even if you're not from this small town exactly, or you didn't go to this high school specifically. Or, like, someone will see me and be like, you look familiar. Or your voice sounds familiar. And I'm like, okay, you either know my mom from when she worked at the Pig, or you know my sister from when she worked at the Pig, or the fact that she works at, like, the insurance place in town. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, that might be it. Or, have I seen you anywhere before? Oh, yeah, I worked at this restaurant, that restaurant, the bank, this retailer, and now here. So, you probably know me from that, too. And they're like, what about your family? Oh, I ain't from here. Okay. Like, as soon as I let them know I'm not from the South, that conversation cuts quick, because they're just like, I probably don't know your family then. You're right. But yeah, definitely interesting dating down here. There was one guy I was talking to at one point, and I was like, yeah, so, like, my family grew up around here, and I was here since I was 10 years old, but, like, personally, I don't know many people, even though it feels like I know everybody, especially in my town. And then they'll be like, oh, do you know so-and-so? Oh, yeah, they were one of my customers at, this place. Or I'll say, like, oh, yeah, I know, like, I'll tell them a story about, like, somebody that I knew at one point, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, that's my cousin, or my aunt, or my whoever. And I'm like, oh, alright. After I literally just got done saying how that person was a complete, like, weirdo or something. And it's like, open mouth, insert foot. Great. But anyways, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for my love life rant and complaining about the South, but I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.